everybody, to a special episode of Tuning Fork. My name is David.
I'm Matt.
I'm Matt.
And we have a guest today.
Hello. Here I am.
Hi. It's Scott Matt.
I'm also a Matt.
We do have several Matts on the show right now. David, you also forgot the show. This is
a show.
It's a show about Pitchfork and the Media Hype Machine.
Yeah, it's a show about music and the Pitchfork Media Hype Machine. Today we're talking about one of our guests' favorite albums. What are we talking about today?
Talking about LCD Soundsystem.
This is happening?
This is happening? I think
this is happening, actually. Yeah. This is happening.
At least was happening in 2010.
Oh my god, it's making a noise.
It was happening in 2010.
It may still be happening now.
I mean, James Murphy no longer has a black president.
No, he doesn't.
In fact, he has an orange one instead, because he's orange.
He is orange. LCD Soundsystem, let's see, they started in the early 2000s in Brooklyn, New York. They kind of were one of the originators of the whole dance punk scene in that area.
Yeah. I mean, when it wasn't LCD Soundsystem itself, it was James Murphy behind the keys, because he produced the Rapture album, Echoes, which I think was 2003. So before any LCD stuff had come out. Yeah.
And at the same time, there was all the post-punk revival stuff happening. So Interpol was really big at the time. And I feel like some people just wanted to go, hey, let's see if we can do a thing where we make people dance to punk music.
Yeah, and around the same time is when he was launching DFA Records and had sent a cease and desist to Canada's Death From Above because they tried to use the same names. And then they renamed themselves Death From Above 1979 and said that James Murphy should be jihaded. Real edgy guys.
Yeah, dance punk kind of made me. I don't know. Am I allowed to say that on this podcast?
Sure,
just
why not?
made you as a person?
I think the Block Party and stuff like that was definitely the big pivot for me for doing for setting the scene for the rest of my music taste. I think when around that sort of time, I'm Osher, as we're known over here. I was really into metal and stuff like that, and then just drips and drabs of LCD Soundsystem came through. But I don't know. I think we'll get into this later. But I think dance punk kind of means quite a lot to American people than what it does to British people. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I think they're working from a different pool of influences is a good part of it.
Yeah,
getting into some of the stuff that inspired LCD Soundsystem. If you were to read the Pitchfork review, you would assume that it was only the Berlin trilogy of David Bowie albums and literally nothing else, because that's the only point of comparison that Ryan Dombal makes the whole time.
Which makes very little sense.
It makes very little sense except for the song All I Want, which is literally just Heroes. It's the same fucking song.
Yeah.
It's literally the same song. But otherwise, we actually we read two different reviews for the episode this week, because there was a very good Coke Machine Glow review that kind of contrasted the Pitchfork review. Is almost like a review of the Pitchfork review itself, and the way that James Murphy is treated by the music press as some kind of genius.
Yeah, so the Pitchfork review. The Pitchfork review got a 9.2. And I think you already said it was by Ryan Dombal, who I think we've covered before. And it's really wordy in the tradition of the greatest Pitchfork reviews. He really tries to compare James Murphy to the forefathers of rock in a way that I guess they thought was useful for their readers, but I'm not sure exactly how useful it ended up being.
I think something that's always been a lot of people's problem with Pitchfork as media criticism is that they can't seem to say something is good without venerating it as some kind of genius. Nothing really pops over a 9 without some kind of outsized comparison to some previous band or some outsized comparison to like fucking religious figures. Like that's the kind of shit that happens. Or, being compared to a shooting star, which they had never seen before.
No, they'd never even seen a shooting star before.
And given this is the second consecutive album to get precisely the score of 9.2 by LCD Soundsystem, it's heightened even more because, the continuation of this kind of veneration only leads to, basically like the canonization within like the Pitchfork lore.
Yeah. Well, what I was going to say is like the Bowie comparison is like the one that leapt out to me when I was in 2010 because I was just a little bit less musically literate. Like I'd never listened to ESG, I'd never listened to the Gang of Four, anything like that. So like for me listening to it in 2010, it was like there was bits of Bowie in it that I recognized, and almost everything else was not recognizable to me in any real way other than other LCD Soundsystem records. So like,
yeah,
were you
into Sound of Silver before this one came out?
Yeah, Sound of Silver. Well, so I got into LCD Soundsystem through GTA, really, through that GTA advert.
Yeah, they had Get Innocuous. Yeah. I would always be really happy when my brother was playing GTA and that song would come on, and he would always switch the station when it did because he hated it.
Oh man, yeah, it's just such a cool advert, and I mean, because around that time we had really good music channels on TV, and we had like MTV2, which was sort of like an indie rock MTV. Mm-hmm. So there was I was still quite into metal around then, and I was still a bit like reserved about getting into other stuff just because I was like a teenager. But yeah, around that time like North American Scum came out, and I remember that like banging pretty hard. It was like the middle of the summer, and like it kind of just it went off really well that summer, and then Get Innocuous on the advert. So I had them like locked in quite early as like, oh, I quite like a couple of their songs, and I think I bought Sound of Silver and didn't really listen to much of it. But yeah, like at the time I didn't really, I mean, if I'm honest, I didn't get into This Is Happening until like maybe 4 or 5 years ago.
Sure.
So when I actually came to it, like it was more alongside a lot of the influences that Pitchfork seemed to just completely ignore.
Yeah, it's always interesting getting into like the big hype albums like well after their hype period, because like I've had this happen to me a few times, like listening to Arctic Monkeys debut like well after their hype period, and I was just kind of like, I don't really get it.
Yeah,
because it's like there's so much about like a band's hype that kind of builds your own narrative around it, even if you don't recognize it. And coming into it just being like, I'm looking at this from purely musical perspective without any context around it, and you're not necessarily going to get the same experience for better or worse.
Right. The peak of LCD Soundsystem's hype kind of came a little after this album came out, I think, when they announced they were breaking up and did the Madison Square Garden show.
Yeah.
Well, they had Terminal 5, they had Madison Square Garden, and then they did like 6 shows at Terminal 5 because the Madison Square Garden one sold out like literally within 30 seconds, I think, because it was like assaulted by scalpers.
I actually watched Shut Up and Play the Hits recently, and I don't know if you guys know this, but there's a bit where Donald Glover's in the crowd and he's like going crazy.
Yeah.
It's great. It's like his first.
Still got to talk about camp at some point.
We do got to talk about camp at some point.
You got to.
But yeah, like
I think because I wasn't super into LCD Soundsystem when they were a band, I have a really, really bad habit of finding bands that I like properly connect with just after they break up. Like it seems to constantly happen to me. Because I'd missed all the kind of proper hyper in LCD Soundsystem. When LCD Soundsystem were kind of large and in charge, I was just into other indie stuff. So then when I came to it kind of with a fresh set of ears, it properly kind of blew me away, and I bought into like the James Murphy as a genius stuff quite easily. I will be honest, quite easily.
Yeah.
But not because he's really good at writing songs like Bowie or anything like that. It's more like he's a really good producer.
Well,
he's good at what
like,
he does.
That's something that like the Coke Machine Glow review, which basically bites into the James Murphy as genius narrative, but like at no point does it admit anything less than him being a near genius producer. Like him behind the boards has always been his greatest strength, and they recognize that. Like they're like, it's a good album. It's a very, very, very well made album, but here are our various problems with the way he uses his influences. And the way he writes his lyrics, which we will get to.
Yeah.
Once we're into the tracks, but like largely, he's a lot more tolerable when he's being sincere, and he is an irony boy at heart. So you only get that sometimes.
Yeah, like Someone Great from Sound of Silver is a really good example of him being sincere as like one of the best moments on the album.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then on this
Would
one,
you guys say there's more sincerity on American Dream, or do you think it's because
I'm not as familiar with American Dream? I only listened to it maybe 3 or 4 times.
Yeah, I only had a couple of plays through that one compared to like these ones, which had like endless spins back in the day.
Yeah, I really like American Dream, but some of the songs kind of verge on in a good way, not like stadium rock, but like not in the way that like later Foles albums kind of have a stadium thing where it kind of feels like they're made to be played in like sports ads or like sports breaks.
I can tell you with confidence, newer Foles literally plays at my work, which is a gym.
Yeah, there you go. Exactly. So like it's not that kind of stadium rock, but it is it's not anything like Someone Great or anything like that. I mean the good songs, I think, in terms of which songs sound really good. I don't think it's just hard to gauge the sincerity on it because it feels like a slightly different band.
Yeah, most of the same people on that one though, eh?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, which is really cool. I mean, that said, if you actually look at the personnel on this album specifically, but most of the albums, it's pretty much just James on the record. Like he is playing everything on the record, and most of the other credits are going to be like hand claps or shouts.
Yeah.
Like we don't even get a minute of Nancy on the keys on this one, which is like one of the best parts about seeing them live is getting Nancy on the keys.
I think the big contemporary of LCD Sound Systems that I was listening to at the time of this album was Chick Chick Chick.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, and that's
a band I never got into.
Yeah,
a lot in common with the way LCD Sound System runs things. Although it doesn't get, I feel like they're almost always in like the jokey LCD Sound System territory of songs.
Oh yeah, they're like Nick Offer is an extremely like almost like hypersexual frontman. Like he's always like wearing a half shirt and just like completely gyrating like at every moment that he's on stage.
I mean, they've got the beats for it. You might as well go for it.
Yeah.
True.
But yeah, I'm just going to read this out because I think it would be funny to read it out all at once. James Murphy, vocals, tracks 1 to 5, 7 to 9. Guitar, tracks 2 to 4, 6, 7 to 9. Claps, track 2 to 4, 6, 7 to 9. Drums, tracks 2 to 4, 6, and 9. Bass, tracks 2, 6, 4... Okay, you know what? That's going to take too long. But, like, there are an almost immeasurable number of credits on this. And then the only other credits we have are both Pat Mahoney and Nancy Wang each have 2 tracks, and they're, like, the other 2 members of the band proper.
Yeah.
And then Tyler Pope on bass and an unmentioned Philip Mossman, and that's it for like the main band. Otherwise it's like there's a small couple of things throughout the other tracks, but like largely it's just James.
Do you think the reason Pitchfork like this so much is because it's literally almost all James Murphy, they can like do that like deifying thing to one person in a band way easier, and that's why they connected so well with it?
I don't know if it's that necessarily. I think it's a lot just like the kind of personality that James Murphy puts out through his songs is one that's very relatable to their largely male white writing staff.
Yeah.
Sure.
Like, they've gotten better recently with that, but at the time...
They do that pretty often, though, like when there's an obvious, like, creative force behind a record, and like, the person is responsible for, like, 90% of the sound that you hear on it. They tend to really, like, go into that person specifically. With any of Montreal review, because almost every record of theirs is effectively a Kevin Barnes solo record, and then they turn it into a full band performance.
Yeah, we should start getting into the tracks.
I think so.
Let's do it.
Starting with one of the songs that you really couldn't get away from at all in like this year or the next couple of years, "Dance Yourself Clean."
Walking up to me, expecting words. It happens all the time. Present company, accepted present company, accept the worst. It happens every night. Present company, excluded every time.
Spelled YRSELF.
I'm really glad that he decided to go for the YR spelling rather than the UR spelling. It's just the cooler spelling.
Yeah, that was kind of a moment.
Can I have a YR confession moment here? I never listened to this song because it had the YR in it for years. Because I had this shitty ex that always used to use YR
spelled YRS
before I was like even on Tumblr. And I just saw it and was like, nah, fuck that. That's probably one of her bands. She probably likes that. And just pied it off. Completely ignored it for years and years and years. And then when I came back to the album proper in 2015, it like obviously blew my socks off. Very silly boy.
Oh man. Like this song was almost a meme for a bit. Like I remember on Tumblr there was a parody of it that somebody made that was just all like cat meows like overlaid with each other.
Oh my God.
I think I still have the MP3 of that. Yeah. I think it was labeled as by LCD Cat System.
Meow 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 meow. Meow 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 meow. Meow 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 meow.
Gotta love it.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, there was definitely a lot of. I mean, there's a lot of contemporary memes that's like something and then something at like this point in the song, and people would have that for the drop in this one because it's a large increase in volume very suddenly.
Yeah, it's about 3 minutes in, right?
Yeah, I mean, and it was a note in the Coke Machine Glow review. If you had any reason to dislike LCD Soundsystem in the past, it's like the song "Dance Yourself Clean" is taunting you, because it really is like all the parts of LCD Soundsystem that you might not care for are all in the same song. Like James Murphy's like kind of half singing, half monologuing, his kind of stilted writing all together.
It kind of sounds like Kermit on this one. This is a big
sounds
Kermit
like
moment.
Kermit on this one. Remember how Kermit was in the music video for New York I Love You, But You're Bringing Me Down? Because that was good.
Oh, jeez.
But yeah, and then, of course, it's 9 minutes of length.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I feel like it
songs
earns it,
long
but I
in
like
this
the song.
album.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
long.
this album peaks over the 1 hour mark while only having 9 songs, so it'll happen.
The LCD Soundsystem double album, this is happening. I have to say, since I got the vinyl, I
have the vinyl.
Like,
pew, 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 pew,
I'm
pew,
like,
pew, pew, pew.
I'm like sick to my stomach of listening to it on vinyl because you have to listen to Somebody's Calling Me and Home on the same side, but you have to, like, by that point you've already listened to 3 sides, you've already flipped it so many times, and you get to it and you're like, I just want to get to Home, let's just do it. And then Somebody's Calling Me has to play first, and it's the worst. Anyway, we'll get to that later.
Yeah. I don't own the vinyl for this one. I do own Sound of Silver on vinyl, but I don't have this one.
I think the only DFA Records albums that I own are all Black Dice records.
Black Dice has just been on every record label.
It's true.
The bass line was like really, really familiar to me, but I don't think I'd actually seen it or heard it for years and years. When I first listened to it, is it in like not like kind of indie movies, but is it in a movie at any point in the 2000s?
I don't know. Maybe.
Because it just felt super familiar.
You're talking about the bass line after the drop or before the drop?
Yeah. After the drop.
Yeah.
I don't know, probably.
Yeah.
I don't... the only thing I can think of, like, just off the dome of James Murphy doing sounds for movies is that he did that one Ben Stiller movie, Greenberg, which was like a mumblecore movie, so I didn't see it because mumblecore sucks. But yeah, that's the main thing I can think of.
I don't think I've even seen it.
This song really gave me the feeling that we have possibly found the worst of Genius. Like, the interpretations on these pages are brutal.
I have yet to actually read the Genius pages for these, so let me just load that one up real quick. For example, talking like a jerk, except you are an actual jerk, and living proof that sometimes friends are mean. Like, that's, like, very clearly, as a face read, he's calling himself the jerk that is living proof that sometimes friends are mean. Mm-hmm. Like, it's definitely, like, talking about the persona that he puts forth for the album being somewhat part of his actual persona. Here's what Genius high fidelity of the person.
Yeah, here's what Genius wrote. Murphy is bashing the content/meaning of most of the music we see on the top 100. Songs about sex, money, drugs. Artists make themselves seem like jerks. They may be actual jerks. People act a certain way in order to fit in, but eventually the acting becomes a real persona. These friends act differently under different circumstances, and eventually reveals what that friend is really like. First of all,
Murphy's
projecting.
calling people out for being fake on the first song of his album.
No, he's literally calling himself fake. Like, that's the whole point.
Yeah,
James Murphy surrounded himself with fake-ass friends.
I didn't actually see the lyrics when you posted the screenshot from Genius, so I didn't even know what song that was from. Oh, brother.
I think I also brutal. Called out that that's a pretty significant dog whistle there. The whole thing about most of the music we see on the top 100 being about sex, money, and drugs.
Yeah, as if, like, James Murphy doesn't, like rap music. Which he does, and like that's the classic. You'll kind of see on Genius a lot of projecting onto white musicians that they actually hate rap music.
Yeah,
which is really funny. Which is really funny when you consider, like, you know, what Genius started as.
Yeah, Rap Genius
started as Rap Genius, and it's white devil sophistry. Which, classic line.
Yep.
But yeah, no, like, I don't hate the lyrics on this song. They are self-indulgent, but I really think that it works for the character of the song.
It's a sad party song. It should have sad party words.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it's hard to relate to people when you're so up your own ass.
I do love the line.
Kind of what it gets to.
I do love the line, "You're blowing Marxism to pieces."
Yeah.
Because that's really kind of the New York lifestyle right there.
Yeah. Or like, I've never lived in New York, but I can relate. So do I live in New York? Does that mean I live in New York?
I think that means you live in New York now.
Okay. You live in New York, Scotland.
I also just like it's really just easy wordplay, but just the various instances of accept and accept and all that stuff near the start of the song, like present company accepted, present company accepted, present company expect it. Like, it's just it's really easy wordplay, but it really works for me.
Totally, and it sounds nice in the song as well. It's like sing-songy. I think so much of this record is really good because it's quite sing-songy.
Mm-hmm. No, he really goes for it. He doesn't. I mean, he does frequently go outside of his own range as far as singing. Like, whenever he tries to belt, you can tell he's really, really struggling.
Yeah.
But it kind of works with it.
Doing the repetition of syllables like that kind of turns his voice into another instrument.
Oh yeah, like
it's not like he's just, you know, saying prose over the melody. It's like, no, there's actual choice behind the sounds that he's choosing to put into the words.
Yeah, and the rhythm of it too.
Yeah. Like,
if anything, he understands how the rhythm of his songs work, and his lyrics have always worked around that in a way that really they're really accentuated by the way he places the sounds around them. Yeah. Like both his drum patterns and on like some of the later songs, like One Touch, like the way he talks around like the synth wobbles.
Yeah.
Like, it's really It works. It works. I'm just going to say it works a lot because really, I don't fully understand what he's doing, but I do like to hear it. I don't necessarily know exactly what he's doing at all times, but I do like to hear it.
Yeah.
Are we ready to move on to Drunk Girls?
We are ready to move on to Drunk Girls.
Is this a misguided frat anthem? Question mark.
I don't think you could get away. I don't think you could get away with releasing this song in 2020.
No.
It's just not gonna stand. And like, yeah, he's apparently in an interview with NME. It's not really about girls. I'm not making fun of anybody like drunk people or girls. It's a song about funny genders. What the hell does that mean? And people being wasted and people who are drunk trying to relate to one another, which I always find deeply hilarious and predictable even in myself. Like, he does say both drunk girls and drunk boys throughout the song. So like, the only reason it's not called Drunk People is that it doesn't fit a rhythm as well.
Yeah. And it's not like in the hook.
Yeah. But at the same time, he also has the line "drunk boys keeping pace with the pedophiles" in like the first verse. And like, you're saying it. I don't like to hear it.
No.
Like, I don't want to hear it. I get your point, but I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear the 40, now 50-year-old man saying this.
Yeah. I remember there being a video for this. I haven't watched it in probably since it came out. Oh,
I watched the video for this yesterday. It's very good still.
Okay, good.
The thing about the music video for this song is the band, they all sing in the music video, which I very like, because I do like to hear Nancy singing. And there's about like 15 odd people wearing like panda outfits who just terrorize them for the entire length of the music video. Like blasting air horns in their faces, spraying them with silly string, literally tackling James Murphy into a mattress.
That's extremely 2010 music video right there.
Yeah, and then they also do very much like put James Murphy in a dress and wig and put lipstick on him.
Oh,
you know,
funny.
like a funny. And then they duct tape everyone together and pour trash on them. So it was very much like they all planned what they were going to do, but none of the band knew it was coming.
Yeah, that reminds me of another video where trash gets thrown around quite a bit. Truth Rush by Dan Deacon.
Yeah, very good video.
It immediately makes me think of Nobody Move, Nobody Get Hurt, the video for that by We Are Scientists, where it's like the band running away from one very large panda outfit that's chasing them around. It's maybe not
what it is with panda outfits.
It's like a mascot kind of thing, and it's got a baseball bat and it chases the whole band. It's a great video.
Yeah. It's like the opening to that Jackass movie, except instead of bulls chasing them, it's people in panda outfits.
Yeah. I live to see it.
Yeah.
The thing is that drunk girls do wait an hour to pee.
That's true.
He goes for a note on that line. He's hitting the highest falsetto for that one.
I know, and like that's I don't know. We'll get to the pitchfork comments on Somebody's Calling Me in a bit, but I just keep thinking about it, like saying that he's a good vocalist and like.
Oh my god,
there's
call
almost
him like
a running joke on this
vocalist.
album. Yeah, there's almost like a running joke on this album that he's not good at singing.
He's
on every LCD Soundsystem album, there's almost a running joke that he's not very good at singing. Like,
no, yeah. But yeah,
I think if James
I think
Murphy,
other than that, you go on.
If James Murphy went on popular TV show The Voice, nobody would turn around.
Oh no, they would just let him flounder.
Yeah, he'd go on and sing "Heroes" by David Bowie, and no one would care.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, no, like, other than like the really bad line at the start, this is mostly just a "People Be Like" song.
Yeah. It's also I think the shortest one on the album.
It is the shortest one. It's the only song below 5 minutes on the whole album.
Oh god,
it's about 3:42 or something like that.
Yeah, I mean that's the exact length it needed to be. This song did not need to be a second longer. Whereas,
do you think it overstays its welcome?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah. I think this couldn't have been a long song.
I think that it builds itself effectively, and it leaves right when it needs to. And also just ending with the line, "Be honest with me, honestly, unless it hurts my feelings," is very funny. Of course, I didn't know what that line was for ages because he sings it in a falsetto poorly. So it takes a while to actually like kind of get that line if you're just listening along.
And then it ends on a oh. I like this.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, yeah, he has to put on that persona again.
Was this this was sort of towards the end of the whole like people wearing like face paint and headdresses to shows, right?
Yeah, I think it was when that was on its way out. Yeah. Or starting to be on its way out. People still do it now, but that's because people are terrible.
Yes.
Yeah.
But not everyone does it.
Yeah, exactly. I can't imagine it feeling appropriate to wear to an LCD Soundsystem show. It's just not their vibe at all.
Yeah, no. I'm sure people did, though.
Yeah, because it's like, obviously I don't understand wanting to do it at all, but at the same time, I can understand where the vibe would lead someone to do it. And I could not get that from any part of LCD Soundsystem's music. It could not be any more. Not. It could not be any more. I live in a city.
Yeah, it's not there. There is literally no earthy elements to anything.
There's nothing earthy about anything he's ever done.
Yeah, totally.
The earthiest thing he has is like the synth tone on "Someone Great" because it sounds like a fart.
Every song is recorded from an apartment that's 25 floors up.
Yeah. I don't even know the last time I saw a building that tall.
Yeah, definitely not where you live.
Not over here.
We don't have those here.
All right, so we got One Touch next.
It's never enough.
We've been patient for a long time. One touch is never enough.
This is one of the songs where he, like, you know, kind of puts on a persona a little bit.
Yeah.
Because he's definitely putting on a voice for the whole thing.
Yeah, it's the same voice as from Get Innocuous, I think.
Yep.
It's very similar. It's very similar. I think he's going deeper, though.
Pretending to be a baritone voice.
Yeah. I think he's going deeper on this one than he was on Get Innocuous. And I think it's just because on Get Innocuous, he was more reverbed.
Oh,
and
yeah.
This one just, it's a lot punchier.
There's definitely like a higher harmony on Get Innocuous too. Which, can I say, I think this is my favourite vocal style that James Murphy does.
Yeah.
It really works for his range, which is nothing.
Yeah.
He doesn't have a range.
Yeah.
It's basically setting a precedent for the rest of us who can't sing, which I love and I appreciate.
It's
I do
also
like vocalists. I like vocalists that aren't afraid to like change up what their voice sounds like through an entire song.
Mm-hmm. Like it's a good persona for him because it doesn't involve changing notes a lot within a line. Like it's da 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 da.
Yeah.
Like he's really just sticking it with the same notes. This one has like some of my favorite synth tones on the whole album.
Yeah, for sure.
Is real cool. And
the way that the filter changes on that lead, like the the way the filter changes on that through the whole song is like really like which is like a club banger, really.
Yeah, I mean that's generally considered one of the better pieces of his early work, right? Like that's one that's brought up a lot.
You can hear him twiddling those dials.
I think even the Coke Machine Glow brings it up as like the best example of him making actual club music.
Yeah,
like that's where it really shines through, as opposed to like his kind of like I'm making a simulacrum of dance club music that's kind of like self-aware about club culture, which is like the part that, you know, CMG kind of makes him sound like he's kind of up his own ass.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna pop a beer. 1 sec.
Yeah, grip it and rip it.
Pop a molly and get jolly in South Beach.
New York is but a dream to be now, said James Murphy. What would it sound like if James Murphy did a collaboration with Sufjan Stevens? They both like weird synths. This is just a fact.
Is that what Sylvan Esso is?
Maybe.
I'm not really that familiar with Sufjan Stevens, so maybe that's pejorative, but...
I don't think they sound much like Sylvan Esso, no. I'm trying to think of what would be the closer equivalent to what a James Murphy and Sufjan Stevens would sound like, and I'm pretty sure it's just when Sufjan Stevens releases a synth album. Like, I think Aporia is pretty close to what you'd get.
Yeah.
And Aporia whips, by the way. Everyone should check it out if you were not wanting to check out the synth album he made with his stepdad. It actually does whip, so...
Yeah, stepdads are good sometimes.
Stepdads are good sometimes. People who need people are just people who need people.
People who need people do be like people who need people.
The thing about people who need people is that people who need people.
Kermit nodding.gif.
I do like that the annotation for this says a dual reference to both Depeche Mode's People Are People and the classic song People by Barbra Streisand.
Why not just throw in common people because he says people so commonly in the song?
Yeah, those are some songs that have the word people in them.
Yeah, the latter has the line, people who need people are the luckiest people in the world, which is a very... I feel like that's just one of those ingrained in pop culture lines at this point, because it's been, like, you know, remixed and reused by a bunch of people.
Yeah.
Like AJJ's people who eat people are the luckiest people in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I do like the song People Are People. Can you just put a clip of People Are People in here, because it whips?
Yes.
Me asking David if he's going to put a Depeche Mode clip in, as if I even need to ask.
Yeah, the first thing that I did with Ableton was load up the samples from that song and play them through my MIDI controller.
Hell yes. It's cool sounds of metal hitting each other. We love it.
Yep.
Hey, the Pitchfork review doesn't mention One Touch.
This happens a lot. They will sometimes just completely forget a song exists within the review.
Yeah.
And it's always like... It seems to happen to whatever song I wanted to hear them talk about the most.
Yeah.
It just seems really weird to rate an album this high and not talk about every part of it.
Well, also, I think there's maybe a couple of songs that they've missed out on, but they did spend the time talking about the worst LCD Soundsystem song. Somebody's calling me.
Oh, we'll get there.
We will.
Yeah, we'll get there. Sorry. Oh my god, I'm still carrying all of that.
Yeah.
And the burden is crushing. Yeah, I think there's like... I like the vocals in this song, but the kind of, the Depeche Mode type... I think it's quite sort of British synth poppy at times, One Touch. Mm-hmm. But like, it's not necessarily a look that I love on LCD Soundsystem. Like, it's a great song, but I'm glad they don't do more of those. Yeah,
I can see that. Like, I wouldn't want to hear him do a whole album of this. But I think it's I think it's a pretty good bridge between Drunk Girls and All I Want, which could not possibly exist next to each other.
Yeah, do you want to get to All I Want now?
We can get to All I Want.
We can be heroes.
Just for one day.
How did he get away with not putting Bowie or Brian Eno as a writer on this track? Like, it's the same song.
Yeah, it's just got like a punchier kick drum, and that's about it.
Like, it literally sounds like he was trying to like emulate the specific guitar and synth tones. Like, not even just like making a similar like driving synth tone, because like the synth tone's just like a pretty persistent note that goes up and down, right? Like he's just using like an oscillator or something for that.
Yeah, it just has like a modular synth sort of just being messed around with.
It's like and like that holds pretty consistently throughout the whole song, which I actually thought was really cool. I really do like a modular synth noise. Like, where it's like, no one's pressing a key. I'm just going to turn a knob to make this sound happen.
Well, I love the sound of this song. Like, I'm not really a big Bowie fan, so like the Heroes thing, like, it registers because then I hear Heroes and I'm like, oh yeah, oh man.
Have you ever heard the album?
I can't believe Brian Eno ripped off James Murphy.
I know.
Have you ever heard the album "Here Come the Warm Jets" by Brian Eno?
No.
That kind of like one modular synth note carrying through the entire song is a thing that's kind of all over that album.
Yeah, I'll maybe check that out. Yeah.
Brian Eno's solo stuff is all very good.
Yeah, that was when he was still in his glam rock phase before he went ambient with the music for airports and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I almost wish he didn't bury his vocals as much as he does on this. And I say this like knowing full well that I recognize him as not a great vocalist.
Yeah.
He really buries it. You could barely hear the first verse on this song.
You think that's because he's spooked about being sincere? No, because he's done sincere songs. Yeah.
Like Someone Great, he's like right up front pretty much. Although that song was created in full without lyrics, and then he added the lyrics later. So that could be a part of it. Because like Someone Great was part of 4533, the running mix he made for Nike or Adidas. I can't remember which.
Nike, I think. But yeah, like, what were we saying? Yeah, the vocals are like really nice. It's like the nicest LCD Soundsystem vocals.
Mm-hmm. He definitely puts in a couple of harmonies with himself. Like he puts in a couple of just like low passes, like along with his vocals. And
there's also the "Ow la la la, ow la la."
Yeah, no, I really do like that.
Love that.
I think that's all him too.
Do you think
he doesn't have anyone else? He doesn't have anyone else listed as vocals in the credits for this one. So I think that that is all him doing that one.
Do you think this was him trying to make a follow-up like directly to All My Friends?
He's either doing it does sound like he's doing it All My Friends. This is a different it's a different pathology to that one, because that one's almost like as we age we grow apart, and like, you know, it's like the inevitable passing of time kind of thing. And this one's more like when you suck you grow apart.
Yeah.
Cause like this whole song is about a guy who sucks like so bad.
And I think also it's got quite a lot more in common with Great Release than it does with All My Friends. I guess that the driving piano is really, really like All My Friends, but I think in terms of like the other stuff in the sounds of the song, it is quite like Great Release.
Yeah, but like I can almost understand. Like this is definitely one of the best songs on the album, both sonically and like in the way it's presented. But at the same time, like when I read the chorus, now all I want is your pity, or all I want is your bitter tears. Like I want to give him a fucking wedgie. Like
this is the song about how he's the guy who sucks and he's got depression.
He's the guy who sucks, plus he's got depression. He's having trouble biting the whole way through a piece of toast. And then from now on I'm someone different, because it's no fun to be predictably lame. From now on, let's do it different, because I just want what I want. Take me home. So like, you know, he has that like weird, like almost like reflection of growth just like buried at the end of the song beneath like 800 layers of synth, which actually does make it a very good transition to the next track,
which is
the next track is I Can Change.
I was like trying to think. I was on the spot.
I was trying to prompt David to do that one, but then he didn't, so I did it.
Yeah, I was also trying to remember. So that's
I have all the windows open, so I just looked at my next tab.
Yeah,
I Can Change.
Do 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 boo 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 do 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 do.
Like this was like the biggest hit from the album, right? This one did the best. Yeah, it had to have been this one.
I think this is the kind of song that the passing, like someone who was really into music in 2011 will have heard this track.
Oh yeah,
I think.
Also, just kills live, because I mean most of their songs kill live. I saw them on the they did like, you know, a couple of reunion shows before they said that they were getting back together proper. and they played a festival in like just like an hour and a bit north of Toronto, like in basically like a campground is where they hold this festival. And I managed to get to like the barrier, so like I was right up front. And yeah, no, everything kind of whips live, but the ones that you can really sing along with the chorus are always really good.
Yeah,
this one's
when you
real easy.
Throw your arms behind you and like sing it. I think it's always a good chorus.
And then of course any of the songs with the drop, so you could just go ape shit.
Throw your arms behind you, kind of like Naruto.
Yeah, just like a Naruto jump.
Oh, I think this song might have my favorite synth sound on the whole album. The big sort of pad that goes behind the chorus, just a big chord. Yeah. I love the sound of that.
Do 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 do.
Love the drums.
Yeah, everything sounds so good on this. Everything sounds really good on this song, which like we really can't overstate. Like he is a very, very good producer.
Well, there's not a single synth sound on any LCD album that really sounds not right.
Yeah, no, he even if he's like playing it like weirdly out of tune, like he's making it work some other way.
Yeah.
He's tuning something else to complement it, or like it's meant to be dissonant, and you can tell that. Like everything's very deliberate.
Well, because there's also there's a little synthy kind of stabby bass that goes behind the verses as well, just like it's on like every like eighth note, and it sounds great. Like it could have probably carried the song if you'd taken out 2 or 3 of the other synth sounds. Like it's such a nice like popcorn synth. It's great. Mm-hmm. Such a good song.
Yeah. I don't know, I feel like we haven't really gotten into the lyrics much, so now I'm just like looking at the lyric sheet, looking for anything that's calling out to me. Love is a murderer is such a... This is like... It's a line that's evocative, gets the people going. Yeah. But at the same time, it's stupid. Like, it's such a 40-year-old man line to write.
Yeah, when I went to see them, there was a lot of 40-year-old men who were like really, really leaning into the chorus in this song.
Yeah.
There was a time when all on his mind was love. Now he finds that most of the time love's not enough in itself.
Shut up. But yeah, it's very much like, I can change. I'll do it. I swear, I'll do it. I'll change.
Dare me to do it.
Dare me to change. I'll do it.
You have to dare me.
I won't do it if you don't dare me. And really, like the whole latter half of the song is just the chorus repeating, but it works.
Yeah, my cat.
Maybe that's just your love of fights. Before.
Maybe it is just your love of fight.
But that's also just one of his like. There's love in your eyes, love in your eyes, love in your eyes. But maybe that's just your love of fights, and it's just very much like I'm just gonna reuse the syllables and make it just a little different, just with a little twist. I'll put a little twist on it. It'll be a naughty caprice.
Someone was asking him to do a hit, and that's what the next song is about.
That is what the next song is about.
You wanted a hit.
You wanted a hit, but maybe we don't do hits. I try and try, it ends up feeling kind of wrong. You wanted it tough, but is it ever tough enough? No, nothing's ever tough enough until we hit the road.
But maybe we don't do hits.
God, that is the longest one on the album, huh?
I think it's the best one. I think this is my favorite track on the album. I think.
You know, I feel almost the opposite.
Oh yeah,
really?
I really like the way it sounds.
Yeah,
but just the lyrical content doesn't do it for me.
It is like a little bit weird in terms of rhythmically speaking, the way the lyrics go. Like the line, "You wanted it lush, but honestly, you must hush."
I love the way it kind of the lyrics bounce around on this, like.
And he's like really going with the rhythms of that synth in the background.
Yeah, but he almost like switches up his flow. Don't put that in the podcast. But he like, well, especially like it's a killer live. You wanted a hit, and the way he changes, he sort of does the same delivery of. He sort of switches the delivery of certain lines around. So like. He kind of emphasizes stuff in the same kind of order, but on different lines, and it works really, really well live. Because what's the point in it? I really, like, the song was stuck in my head for freaking ages afterwards, after I saw them live, just because he was like, tell me what's the point in it, like that. And it cracked me up, and then that's the only way I can sing the song now. But I think, like, that's one of the big reasons I love this album, and just LCD Soundsystem, is that, like, you can really, really, really sing along to loads of these songs in a really silly voice.
Yeah. That makes sense. What I don't like is that this song almost just seems to be built for, like, the Pitchfork audience to like, in that it's like, it's against the popular music industry. So you wanted a hit, but that's not what we do, bro. And, like,
it's just, I'm not going to write you a love song.
I feel like he's definitely being sarcastic on the song, but I don't think, one, it comes through in the way that he intends it to, and two, I don't think that's the way any reviewer took it.
For some reason, my M4A file of this is just tagged with the title "Hit."
That's how you know that's how you know you got that one from the leak.
Yeah, for sure.
You just never replaced it.
That was probably the working title of it.
Well, yeah, they made a hit, but then he didn't want to make hits, so he called it "You Wanted a Hit." But unfortunately, it was a hit. Just kidding. Like they didn't release this one as a single.
Because like what I guess the intended message of the song is like, we've never done big songs. Like we the fact that our songs were on the radio doesn't necessarily mean that we were a hit band in the first place. But what it comes across as is like, fuck off, we won't make you a hit.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. As if, like, he hasn't been running his own record label the whole time.
Yeah.
Like, who is he talking to? Who is he talking about? He's fucking putting it out himself.
Yeah, and he always... The weird thing is he introduces it... Carry on?
Do you think LCD Soundsystem is an album band?
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Like, I can listen to some of these songs by themselves, but most of the time, when one of the songs finishes, I want to hear the next one.
Yeah.
Totally.
With some exceptions. I just want to read the first annotation here. Vocalist James Murphy takes on the demands of the record industry, who constantly want their artist to produce number one hits, because as we all know, number one hits make the record companies money.
Really? Do they?
Thus, out of principle, Murphy doesn't write hits for the sake of writing a hit. Writing a song in this way feels manufactured and disingenuous. Murphy referred to the music industry and this way of thinking as Marxism in Dance Yourself Clean.
Did he?
This motherfucker talking cultural Marxism in the comments.
You wanted a hit, but let me take my time on it. Please, record industry, white collar guys.
I can't believe Jordan Peterson wrote this annotation.
I can't believe it.
Tuning Fork is a podcast.
God, I wish that Jordan Peterson voice synth still worked.
Yeah, that was my best impression of it.
Yeah, I did at least manage to get him... I did manage to get him to say Henry Kissinger's Pokemon going to die before they shut it down, so that's what's really important.
Henry Kissinger is Pokemon going to die.
Yeah, that is the exact rhythm he says it in.
Pokemon.
I had to trick him into saying Pokemon, but, you know.
Yeah. Jordan Pokemon.
Jordan be Pokemon.
All the Pitchfork review has to say about You Wanted a Hit is that it is music about writing music.
Music about music is just music about music.
God, Murphy's vast perspective and all-knowing Mayan? I don't know that word. Are invaluable assets to his success. Recorded in LA instead of his hometown, This Is Happening finds the unlikely rock star zooming out even further in search of the realness and truth mentioned on the album's Music About Writing Music track You Wanted a Hit.
Like, did
you listen to the album?
Does Pitchfork actually think James Murphy is a rock star? A rock star?
He sold out Madison Square Garden, but, you know, that's about the only credo he has to that point. Yeah. I don't think they understand what rock star means.
Like, LCD Soundsystem were never, like, a huge band.
The thing is, I almost understand that from, like, a Pitchfork music kind of person's bubble. Like, for example, when Arcade Fire won their Grammy, people were like, who the fuck is Arcade Fire? And I literally cannot imagine not knowing who Arcade Fire is. Like it does not make sense to me not knowing who Arcade Fire is. But yet the vast majority of the world has no fucking idea who Arcade Fire is.
Even
a couple of years ago, I was in work and I was speaking to a girl the same age as me, and she was like, "Oh, what kind of music do you like?" And I said Kanye West, and she went, "Who's that?" So this was in 2013 or 14 that she asked me who Kanye West is, and it fucking blew my mind. Yeah. It was so good.
That makes even less sense.
I know. I'm still amazed by it now.
How do you not
It's incredible.
Even in 2014, he was on tabloid covers. You literally would just see him walking in through the grocery store. Because he's constantly on tabloid covers with some secret expose about how he was gay the whole time. As tabloids do.
So
the only reason I know the names of most of the royal family is because of tabloid covers.
Yeah.
Because Lord knows I couldn't give a shit.
Pow.
Shall we move on to Pow Pow? Yeah.
We're on to Pow Pow.
Being uptight and you being alright, there's advantages to each. Advantages! From this perspective, from this position, I have a good grip on both of them. Because I have stayed home and have learned a little more about my neighborhood, which is important. There's a lot of good places to eat. And so it's pow, 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 pow.
This is the one that I keep coming back to whenever I listen to this album, just because of how ridiculous it is.
Mm-hmm.
This is the kind of thing that you listen to it, and it's like, how are you taking James Murphy seriously when he's not taking James Murphy seriously?
Right. This is probably the most fun that he's letting himself have on the entire album.
Yeah, well, it's with the whole, from this position framing that he puts the whole album through. And it's, very much from this position as a, well-off, white, male music producer in America.
White and male, there's advantages to both.
Advantages to both!
Yeah, this has the best LCD Soundsystem gang vocals.
Yeah.
OAT.
The thing is that any track that Nancy Wang is shouting on, I like.
True.
She's
That's
good
basically
at it.
what I mean.
She's very good at it.
Yeah. The best who have ever have done it, really.
Yeah.
This is the one that the Coke Machine Glow review says is basically just a Talking Heads song.
He's doing his Talking Heads voice.
Yeah, this totally would make sense as a song on Remain in Light.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Because that album is just all looped instrumentation with rambling and rhythmic speaking.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, it really just... Let me just pop open the Pitchfork review real quick. I accidentally closed it. Let's pop that baby wide open. Bust it wide open. And just do a quick search. No, there is no mention of Talking Heads in this entire review.
Wow.
How does this happen? The only David mentioned is Bowie.
I really think they must have literally just listened to All I Want and went, man, this guy's David Bowie?
Yeah, I'm just looking at the Coke Machine Glow review now. When the single Pow Pow was released, tell me your first thought wasn't this sounds like Talking Heads, and if we're even being more nuanced, this sounds like Talking Heads mixed with Lizzie Mercier Declue with some overly gothic vocal runs and some ESG on the low end. And yeah, no, pretty much. ESG is not a cultural touchstone that I would have understood any time before last year, because they just started playing shows again, basically. And I saw them in my hometown, Sudbury, Ontario, town of 165,000, and ESG, a forefront, basically dance punk in the 70s. Their song UFO is one of the most sampled tracks in history, rivaling the Amen break with the amount of people who have used its drum sample. And that's basically
Genius of Love.
Or Genius of Love, yeah. They and they're clearly such a big influence on LCD Soundsystem in this album in particular, and also just the way this song sounds.
Yeah,
just the way that they are over their rhythms is basically the same way he constructs these kind of songs.
The thing about the time period in which this album came out is that we have a black president and you do not, so shut up.
God. And how'd that turn out?
And how was
is that not in that in that voice of kind of snotty New Yorker? I always took that as to be, I mean, with James Murphy, like so many like 40-year-old white men, it's like the level of irony that you're prepared to work on with them sometimes makes a huge difference. But like, yeah, I definitely read that as like
oh yeah, no, he's doing it in his snotty snob voice. That's how he's doing this whole song. And it's just like, basically, how tolerant are you of that shtick at this point?
Yeah.
I think he kind of grandfathered his way in, and that if anyone else were to release a song like this now, I would fucking hate it. It's
hey, James Murphy, what's your favorite Daft Punk album? Discovery.
But
it's like the second Daft Punk record. Discovery.
It's every time that someone of his ilk, of a like, you know, white male 40-something is putting out an album of like irony tinged shit, I'm just like, I don't have fucking time for this. I don't have the energy for your fucking bullshit. Like, Mark Kozelek can suck my dick.
I was gonna make a Sun Kill Moon reference.
Yeah, and then, like, you know, like, I can't take it at all. But I think the fact that he puts on a voice for it, for one, and two, the fact that it's not the whole album also really helps.
Tron Legacy.
But, here's another line from the Coke Machine review, Coke Machine Glow review, which was written by Mark Abraham, which we didn't say earlier. Like, I don't actually think James Murphy is a dick. I think he's obscenely self-aware that he has a dick, and as is the male-dominated music media types that love him. But mostly I'd suggest that the problem isn't dickishness so much as that he's kind of hilariously hamstrung by being granted this weird guru-ish position by Pitchfork and other media outlets to playfully explore concepts of hipness and irony and aging masculinity and whatever else has become his current bugaboo, as if he has total authority on the subject. And I think that's really, it kind of rings true just with the way that Pitchfork wrote about this album as if he's some kind of like fucking messiah. And he, you know, starts this song out prefacing every line with, "from this position." Like, he's fully aware of the kind of ridiculous status he's granted and is playful with it in a way that I feel like manages to like straddle the line between, you know, dickishness and just like overwroughtness like really, really well. And I think it works. I think he manages to make it work.
Yeah, Pitchfork was kind of like projecting themselves onto LCD Soundsystem, I think.
Oh yeah,
like,
for sure.
Turning them into Pitchfork the band. Like we're objective satirists of hipster culture.
Another line from later in the same paragraph. Let me just try to find the start of the line there. Does make him kind of a dick, but also kind of an unwitting dick. At some point, playing it, having a Maxim worldview and having a Maxim worldview melt into one another, and I can't tell the difference, and I especially can't tell the difference with Murphy, because again, he is bad at writing lyrics. So it's like almost he makes his own positions unclear with the fact that he is incapable of writing any nuance, which is what makes his sincere songs really good. But it also makes his, like, you know, his hip cool songs like really, really, you very have to just kind of read into his mindset, and sometimes people will project things onto that mindset.
I'm only 30 years old. You'll have to explain to me what Maxim is.
It's a magazine with got titties in it.
Oh, okay.
But covered titties. No exposed titties in this one.
Dang.
I thought I'd see a boob today. God damn. I once saw a boob and thrice a pair.
I lived a good life. Somebody's calling me. Is it time for that one?
I think it might be time for that one.
Hang up. I hate it.
I'm having trouble even summoning the way this song sounds in my head right now, and I listened to this album like 3 times the other day and once yesterday.
It's like, somebody's calling me to be my girl.
Oh no.
Yeah.
He's like
those... 1, 2, 3, take my hand and come with me.
So would you say that
somebody's calling me?
Would you say that your review of this song is a monkey peeing into his own mouth?
Yeah, actually, yes.
Yeah,
but it does kind of sound like Neil Young, though.
Somebody's calling me.
Like, what's the affect he's going for on this one? Like, what's he going for? Because it doesn't land, whatever it is.
It does sound a little bit Iggy Pop. It does sound a bit like Iggy Pop.
Okay, I could see that. I could see that being like the angle he's going for. Like, he does basically worship at the altar of like 60s and 70s punk.
Yeah.
When he's not worshiping at the altar of the like the dancier elements of the same era.
Right.
The song fucking sucks, dude.
Like, it sucks. Actually, all the sounds on this are bad. The synths are bad. The vocoded thing is bad. The guitars sound terrible. The piano, like the honky tonk piano, is hideous.
I pointed
Why
this
do
out
I hate
earlier.
this song so much?
I pointed this out earlier, but if you've ever heard this song, Rocky Mountain Way by Joe Walsh, formerly of the Eagles, which was like a 70s hard rock song, this almost has the exact same riff in it. I'll have to like put those next to each other.
See, I'm not familiar with that song.
Yeah.
I'm not familiar with that song because I'm not a dad currently barbecuing. I do have a beer in my hand at the current time, so I'm like trying to channel it, but I can't do it.
If you turn on a grill and have a beer in your hand, you'll remember the song.
Yeah, it'll just flick right in there. I want you to just look at the second annotation on Genius for "But my hands don't work; they're more like feet." I'm gonna take the image. I'm just gonna post it in the Discord. Sorry, Steph.
Oh, man.
This is the first good annotation I've seen this whole time.
This is what this song sounds like.
Because, yeah, like, this song has, like, the least annotations of the whole thing, and it is a lot of people just projecting their relationship anxieties onto James Murphy. Like, people really, really want to project themselves onto his lyrics, which, like, why would you?
Yeah, I don't want to be in that space.
Well, exactly. Like, they're not, like... No point has he written a lyric that you should aspire to in any way, nor should you relate to any of it. If you do, then please see a therapist. Please.
You cannot and should not take cues from James Murphy at any
shouldn't.
time.
Unless the cue that you're taking is to have Nancy on the keys, in which case you need to listen to that urge. You gotta get Nancy on the keys.
There's a great bit in American Dream in Other Voices where he goes, "Tell him, Nancy!" And then Nancy has like her own like vocal bit. It's great.
Does she actually have her own lines? I don't remember.
It's awesome, yeah. It's like the one McLean. It's like really, really cool vocal.
That's good. I do like to... I need to listen to more of the one McLean, because I know she's on a lot of it. They're
great. It's not like the kind of genre of music that I can spend ages on.
Yeah.
They're a bit like Holy Ghost. But I do, like, if I'm in the mood for something like that, it is great.
Holy Ghost is another one in this area that I can have a lot of fun with sometimes. And then also they also just, have a song about one of their band members dying, and it's one of their best songs, which makes me really sad to think about.
Yeah.
But
I didn't know that.
Yeah, Jam for Jerry. And it gets from their second or third album. I don't remember which one. But 2011. Very sad. Because he was also, I think he'd been like a touring member with LCD Soundsystem before. Because, that whole scene are all just friends that play music together. Because they're a DFA band, of course. So, same area.
Well, they so sound like a DFA band that...
Who's what?
It's kind of on about it. They so sound like a DFA band. Like,
absolutely. Yeah, there's something that happens when James Murphy's on the boards, and you'll sound like a DFA band. It just happens.
Yeah.
Or your Free Energy. Free Energy just sounds like he passed some 70s rock through a tape machine, and that's basically it. Doesn't sound like anything else on the label.
This is all we've got tonight.
Okay, so can we finally move on from somebody calling us?
Yeah, I would prefer if nobody was calling me, and we went home instead.
We should go home.
Like nothing will last. You might forget the sound of our voice. Still, you should not forget, yet don't forget the things that we laughed about. And after rolling on the floor, and thankfully, a few make sure that you get home.
I'll cut the line. So, Home?
Yeah.
Great song.
I like it.
Good one.
What a great track. I simply love this track.
It's simply a good track.
Yeah. It's sincere, so tick on that. It's got nice sounds, so it's got a tick on that.
Coke Machine Glow says the moments of instrumental clarity that emerge from the saccharine sentiments of Home remind me why I do believe my above assertion that Murphy is an important figure in music. When he gets a good idea, he knows how to build it into a frenetic rush of sound.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, basically, like, he's, like, the Coke Machine Glow can very much boil down to, he knows what he's doing, but he doesn't, he knows how to do it, but he doesn't necessarily know what he's doing.
Yeah.
So, like, when he has the good idea, he does it very well. And when he doesn't have a very, when he doesn't have a good idea, he will still do it well.
Yeah. Compared to the previous song, he definitely had a better inkling with this one. I think actually he said he didn't even remember recording Somebody's Calling Me.
That's crazy. I was just about to say, if LCD Soundsystem had stayed broken up, their last two songs they ever released would have been Somebody's Calling Me and Home.
God.
Which is like, what a damning result at the end. Like, to have all these like absolutely incredible songs, and then the last two songs on your last, inverted commas, album. Or like one is really the suck, like really just sucks. And then the other one is Home, which is like, I guess, yeah, a good distillation. But also,
yeah, like it works.
I feel like he had
to
break the band up after writing that song, because he was like, man, when we play this on our final show, it'll all be worth it. Because it's great.
I just want to take a moment. I'm looking at the set list for Shut Up and Play the Hits right now. Let's just talk about this last run of songs. Yeah, outro, Someone Great, Losing My Edge, Home, All I Want, the Harry Nilsson cover, Jump Into the Fire, and New York I Love You But You're Bringing Me Down. That is an insane run of songs.
Yeah.
It kind of is all over the place, yeah.
But like that is a good set of songs.
Yeah.
He's generally pretty good at ending albums, I think.
Yeah.
Like Great Release, New York I Love You, and Home are all very, very good closing tracks.
I think the last track on American Dream sucks. Let me just check. I think it's the really, really long one, Black Screen, which is not a good song. Yeah, Black Screen's like 10 minutes, and it's like mostly like ambient synths. It's terrible. Well, it's not terrible. It's
well, that's
fine.
a shame. So they had it good for the original run, but not as much for the comeback.
Yeah.
I still can't believe that this Pitchfork review says he has good vocals. How does it happen? What is he thinking?
Who did it?
It was Ryan Domball.
Like there was a number of bands around this time where the vocalist wasn't technically good but still was good at performance.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, like yeah. I mean, it just comes down to like him being a shitty vocalist and a shitty lyricist, but very good at writing choruses and really good at writing hooks.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he knows what he's doing on the keys. That's for sure.
My first thought, and like I almost feel bad saying it, but like I love listening to music by Julian Coster, but like the only thing that carries him through is his sincerity and not his voice.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Julian, if you're a Tuning Fork fan, but there it is.
He knows how to write them. I'll give him that. Julian, please come on the show.
Please come on the show. We'll talk about They Might Be Giants, even though Pitchfork hates them.
Pitchfork does hate them, and it's depressing. And they don't even hate them enough to make a good low score review.
Yeah.
Actually,
it's all like fives.
What did they give Mink Car? I'm pretty sure it was very low.
It was probably pretty low.
They give it a 2.8.
Okay.
Duly noted.
Crossover.
And we're still a couple albums from there on Giants Confirmed, but we'll get there.
Yeah. You have to recover from your 8-hour Factory Showroom episode.
Yeah. Gotta love going for more than 2 hours.
Yeah.
Ending the album with "And So Good Night" also just kind of works.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's a nice little cap.
I'm glad that you play clips below this, because it's like I almost feel like I don't have anything to say about this, but it's just like, you gotta listen to the song.
I think like the fact that I got into this in like my my early 20s, and the song is kind of the kind of centerpiece lyric is "Forget the terrible year" or "Forget a terrible year." It's like, unfortunately, that has been the most applicable song to the end of every year since I started listening to that album. So it's like, it's just like a real, supremely cathartic song for me. I just like, I love it. And like, when I went to see LCD Soundsystem, it was like at the end of like the worst year of my life. And although someone tried to start a fight with me while How Do You Sleep was on, which is really funny. And then Home was like just like exactly what I needed to be doing and hearing at that time. It was great. It was like a very good way of forgetting a terrible year, essentially. So mission accomplished, Mr. Murphy. We did it.
Yeah. I know I've been like kind of ragging on the aging music critics for the way that they've, projected themselves onto James Murphy. But I do think it's something, it does say something about like the evocativeness of his lyrics that like as a 16-year-old listening to like All My Friends, I was able to relate to things that are clearly written by and for a man in his late 30s.
Well, yeah, like exactly. Like it's weird how much I've always felt like it's applied to my life. Like,
yeah,
when I heard All My Friends, where like I got really into it at the end of my first year uni, and my friend had just got his car through from home, so we were like driving around Glasgow for the first time in the sun, and it was me and all my friends, so it was just like applicable. But then the more I've listened to them and the kind of the different readings that I've ended up having on all the albums, like it's funny how I'm like, yeah, well, I can relate to all these things too, James, just like on every album. I'm like, oh my god, I am losing my edge aged like 17.
God, it does. Like, one thing that does remind me of it is just like people who don't care for LCD Soundsystem are often just, people who will listen to the lyrics and it's like, okay, I get what you're going for, but it's just like this, if it's unrelatable, I can feel like it's just not working for you at all.
I'm going to copy paste
so much a specific way.
I'm going to copy paste real quick a review of this album by the Dean of American Rock Critics, Robert Christgau.
Oh, good.
It's a paragraph long, so there's not too much to dig into.
Yeah.
One of the other things I was going to say is like, I think kind of sometimes the voice of LCD Soundsystem is sort of like the kind of things that like you hear in your internal voice, and then you think to yourself like, oh, that is the most trite thing I've ever thought in my life. You know what I mean? Like some LCD Soundsystem lyrics sound like just sort of giving voice to like really, really unhelpful, but also unharmful, intrusive thoughts.
Yeah, this MF just says them out loud.
Exactly, yeah. And I like he is a shitty lyricist, but like, so am I. So I'm like, let's see this paragraph.
He gave this one an A-, as did he the same month to High Violet by The National. He didn't give it a scissors. I'm not sure if he still was at this point. This is when he was writing for MSN Music.
Oh my god.
Which was a thing.
He re-accesses the humanist side inside him as if that's every hipster's right.
That's great.
Yeah.
Cynicism always has yuck potential is also just a very funny line in a music review.
Yes.
Christgau really has a way with words. I'll give him that much.
Yeah. That's why he's the dean.
I mean, that's album. It's only 9 tracks. It's 9 tracks that come in over an hour, but it's nonetheless only 9 tracks.
I think my favorite moment on the album might be One Touch, just because the sound of it is so good.
Yeah.
I think One Touch catches the club banger for me.
Yeah, for sure. Like if One Touch comes on with shuffle, it's a never skip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This whole album almost is.
Most of this album I would call a never. Yeah. Most of it I'd call a not skip, because like even like Drunk Girls has some pretty cringy lyrics. Like James Murphy did very much post cringe with that one, but
he did not lose subscriber though.
He didn't lose subscriber at all.
Well, it was before there was Pitchfork reduced deducted points for posting cringe. To be fair,
yeah,
yeah. Now they just make cringe compilations daily.
That's why the Gex album didn't get Best New Music. It's because they posted cringe.
They did post cringe though.
Yeah.
My high points are always going to be the sincere, like James Murphy bad lyrics but good emotion songs. So like, I Can Change and Dance Yourself Clean are my highlights of the album for sure. I can have some fun with Pow Pow, but there is a certain point where I become tired of LCD Soundsystem James Murphy the character. Okay. And it doesn't quite sustain me through all 8 minutes of the track.
Okay, so I don't really do like one favorite song from albums. My thing is everything comes in threes. There's always a really strong succession of three, and it has to be One Touch, All I Want, I Can Change.
Oh yeah, that's a pretty unimpeachable run of songs there.
Because you could do I Can Change, You Wanted to Hit Power Power, but that's two really tonally different songs that I Can Change. You could do Dance Yourself Clean, Drunk Girls, One Touch, but that's weird too for some reason. I think that's too much. There's too much in that. Yeah. Whereas All I Want, I Can Change, and One Touch is like really nice peaks and troughs.
It's pretty wild because the good run of 3 songs on Sound of Sulphur is also tracks 3 to 5. North American Scum, Someone Great, All My Friends.
Oh, I wonder what first record's one is. Let me see.
So 3 to 5 on the first record is Tribulations, Movement, and Never As Tired As When I'm Waking Up. So nothing quite as strong. It doesn't hold out.
The second worst LCD Soundsystem song.
Yeah, doesn't hold.
There's a dance party that happens, during the normal times, at a local Minneapolis club called First Avenue here that is entitled "Too Much Love." In reference to that song on the first LCD record. So yeah, again, like people are really fond of this guy and what he does.
Well, it kind of bums me out because also I kind of get offered a bit of a vision by LCD Soundsystem of like what a nightclub I would really like to go to would sound like. I mean, maybe that's that's super trite, but like I would like. It's hard in this day and age in Scotland to find nights that are like around dance punk or like, I mean, people don't really look that fondly on rock music from the 2000s if it's not Arctic Monkeys or like the Killers and sort of thing here. So there's not really the market for it. But
yeah, Meanwhile, just keeps topping the charts.
Meanwhile, the Oshawa Music Club downtown here has a emo night once a month where they just play emo and you have fun.
Yeah,
and don't post cringe.
Oh, yeah. that is 100% post-cringe the event. Yeah. And you go and you fucking live for it. You get your raccoon streaks in your hair, you put your eyeliner on, you get some fishnets, and you go to fucking town. And then you go get a poutine afterwards. It's the classic Canadian downtown experience.
And then you make a cookie and you eat it.
You make the cookie and you eat it as well.
I
just want to point out one more line from the Coke Machine Glow review that I didn't mention. Frankly, I wasn't waiting for You Wanted a Hit, Murphy's ode to the most annoying aspects of the Spoonback catalog. Because like the vocal effect he puts on that song is very Britt Daniel.
Yeah.
Like both the way he sings it and like the kind of filter he puts on his voice, because like Britt Daniel's kind of like Jillian Casablancas in that he always sounds like he's coming through a radio.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's cool. That's what cool rockers do.
They do.
Cool rockers do be doing that.
They do be sounding like they're going through a radio and saying vote for Bernie Sanders.
Thank you to LCD Soundsystem for your music.
Do you think in a 2020 version of This Is Happening would mention Bernie by name?
Probably.
Yeah, I don't know
so
if
too.
I think they would, just because he's from New York.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And as such, Drumpf will also get mentioned. The funny orange president with small hands?
He would definitely say something about the president being orange on an album.
Oh my god, he would have a song called The President is Orange.
The president
he would have a song about how he's cooler than the president.
Yeah. The president is Channel Orange.
I'm Cooler Than the President by LCD Soundsystem.
I would really like... You know how like Tim Heidecker makes music that's like Donald Trump sucks, like country music, basically?
Yeah.
Imagine if he made an LCD Soundsystem song instead. The thing is that Tim Heidecker, like if he grayed his hair, could do a passable James Murphy like physical impression.
I think they're friends, because I think Tim Heidecker's in that Noah Baumbach movie that he's in.
Fuck that, probably. That means he would do an even better impression. I want to hear Tim Heidecker's "I'm Cooler Than the President" LCD Soundsystem song now.
Or there's already a bit in Tim and Eric that is an impression of James Murphy that's like a sly dig, but the only one I can think of is Nude Tane. That's the only character that even slightly chimes with James Murphy.
Yeah, Tane's got the oversized jacket that's always open.
Yeah.
I can't wait to entertain you.
Have we talked at all about
can you generate a nude
cover
Tane?
art of This Is Happening?
He is sideways on it.
He's sideways, and according to I think CMG, he looks constipated.
I don't really see it. Although I do know
he's just doing that awkward dance that he does. It's
when
sort
I
of
had,
like a proto Carlton dance.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's cool. Don't you get it? All I know is that for a while, I had my album art for this replaced with Hella Jeff of Sweet Bro and Hella Jeff. And it was LCD Soundsystem, We're Making It Happen. I really wish I'd still... Helena probably still has that. I should ask her if she still has it. Because it's very good.
Oh, God, that's good.
If I find this image, we will post it to the Tuning Forks social media.
Yeah, I might get a t-shirt with that on. Jesus. That's so good.
You'd be extremely dating yourself to 2010. That's like the most 2010 t-shirt you could possibly create.
Yeah.
You wanted some stairs, but I warned you about stairs.
The thing is, jokes about warning someone about stairs are still funny to this day.
LCD Soundsystem, it keeps happening.
Right, well,
that would be a good
music.
greatest hits name.
Yeah, true.
It would. Still happening.
That is music. You're not wrong.
That's music, folks.
Yeah. I'm David. I'm going to be releasing a new album as my chip music / synth project, Spinning Voices, here in the next couple months.
Hell yeah, baby.
It'll be my first one since 2012. I've done a couple of singles and EPs since then, but nothing album length, so it's kind of exciting. I also host a podcast occasionally called The Stick with friend of the show Zoe, which is about Homestar Runner. And you can find me on Twitter at Daves with 3 V's.
Like a funny landlord.
Like a funny landlord.
I'm Matt. You can find me on Twitter at MattGCN. You could find all my other podcasts from there because they are all linked in my bio. I have a Pokemon podcast that I'm trying to get an episode recorded in the next little bit because there was just a whole bunch of leaks of beta and proto concepts and stuff. And Pokemon is very important, so obviously I have to talk about them. I'm also on Henry Kissinger's Pokemon Going to Die. The most recent episode is over 2 hours long, and both me and Scott Matt are on it.
Sure are. I'm Scott Matt, and I have a new album coming out this month under the name HKIPGTD. You can find me on Bandcamp. It's out on the 27th of May. I'm also on Henry Kissinger is Going to Die with Matt, as he said.
Pokemon Going to Die, come on.
What did I say?
You just said going to die.
Oh my god.
That sounds like a threat.
I'm up too late. It's 7:45 here. I need to my bed. I'm also on a podcast called Me, Myself, and IMDb where I read user reviews of movies, and it's a lot of fun. And you can find me on Matt L. Steven on Twitter.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Thank you to Animal Style for our theme song Open Air from the album Open Air. And thank you to Nikki Flowers, host of Picking Up Something Good.
And a new secret podcast.
And a new secret podcast,
actually,
which I'm dying to know what it is.
It's not secret. It's not going to be secret anymore by the time this comes out.
Yeah, fair.
But it's coming. Or, if you're listening to this as a listener, it's already here.
Yeah, go listen to it.
Keeps happening.
It keeps happening, folks.
And, as we always say, I had never even seen a shooting star before.
I'd never seen a shooting star before.
I'd never seen a shooting star before.